Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a personal finance classic that promises something pretty bold: building wealth with all the guilt and excuses. You know, the idea here isn't about willpower. It's about creating a system that just works.
So the author, Ramit Sethi, he kicks things off with this exact question, and it's really designed to make a powerful point. See, he argues that in finance, just like with fitness, we're always chasing the sexy answers. You know, the hot stock tip, the complicated new diet. But real wealth, it's not about flash. It's about what's effective, even if it seems a little boring.
And this right here is the trap so many of us fall into. We get so caught up debating the little things. It's kind of like arguing about which brand of running shoes is best when you haven't even gone for a jog yet. It makes us feel like we're doing something, but it's just an illusion that stops us from taking real action.
So here's the core message: stop sweating the small stuff. I mean, really, worrying about the price of a latte is a total distraction. The real path to wealth is focusing on what the book calls big wins, just a handful of key moves that give you massive results, like setting up automatic investments.
Okay, so let's get real for a second. Why do so many of us feel completely stuck? I mean, that mix of guilt and just being totally overwhelmed by money, it's super common. And it turns out there are a few very specific psychological reasons behind it.
One of the biggest reasons is something called decision paralysis. We are just flooded with information: stocks, funds, different accounts. And you know what the research shows? The more choices we have, say, with mutual funds in a 401k, the less likely we are to pick anything. And when it comes to money, doing nothing is absolutely the worst choice you can make.
This paralysis, this feeling of being stuck, it often feeds a much more dangerous problem: a cynical mindset, where it just feels easier to complain than it does to actually take action.
You see this kind of thing all over the internet, right? It's this sort of performative helplessness. Instead of actually looking for solutions, people almost compete to see who has it worse, turning personal finance into a weird contest of who's the bigger victim.
And look, it's so easy to point fingers at these huge external forces: the economy, politicians, entire generations. But while those things definitely matter, focusing only on them, well, it takes all the power out of your hands. It stops you from focusing on what you can actually control, right here, right now.
A lot of this actually goes back to a deeper root cause, what the book calls invisible money scripts. These are the unconscious beliefs about money we soaked up as kids from our parents and society. Things like credit cards are evil or polite people don't talk about money. These scripts are secretly running the show, guiding our financial decisions without us even knowing it. All right, so the core message of this whole thing is about rejecting all of that: the paralysis, the victimhood, those unconscious scripts, and finally taking back control of your financial life. This right here is the big mindset shift. Once you truly accept that you are in the driver's seat, that the power to change your situation is with you, everything changes. You can stop playing defense, just reacting to bills and fees, and you can finally start playing offense with your money.
So what does playing offense actually look like? Well, it means ignoring all that small stuff and instead focusing on the big wins we talked about earlier. These are the moves that get you like 85% of the way there with minimal effort.
And maybe the single biggest win of them all is just getting started as early as you possibly can. We obsess over picking the perfect investment, but we totally miss that the cost of just waiting, it's absolutely massive.
Let's look at this comparison. Okay, you have Smart Sally. She invests $200 a month, but only for 10 years. Then you have Dumb Dan. He invests the same amount, but for 20 years, literally twice as long. The only difference? He starts a decade later. Now, just look at how that plays out. So get this. By age 65, Sally ends up with over $62,000 more than Dan, even though she invested for half the time. That is the staggering, almost unbelievable power of compound growth. The main point here is crystal clear. Just getting started today is infinitely more important than trying to find the perfect strategy tomorrow.
Okay, so how do you actually start playing offense? Well, it begins with taking the financial tools that often seem kind of scary, like credit cards, and learning how to use them to your advantage. Instead of thinking of them as some kind of trap, the book reframes them as a tool. It's all about simple, proactive steps: always paying on time to build your credit score, calling your bank to get fees waived or your interest rate lowered, and actually using the rewards and perks that most of us just ignore. This is what playing financial offense looks like in the real world.
So we've talked about systems and strategies, but honestly, they're pretty pointless without a why. The whole reason to manage your money is to design what the book calls your rich life.
And a rich life isn't about having a private jet or anything like that. It's totally personal. It's about consciously deciding what you value and then spending extravagantly on those things while mercilessly cutting costs on the stuff you don't care about. Maybe for you it's being able to order appetizers without even looking at the price. Or maybe it's helping your parents retire. You get to decide.
And that brings us to the final and really the most important question. This whole system, it's designed to serve your goals. So what do you truly want your money to do for you? What does your rich life actually look like? Answering that? Well, that's the real journey.